The world is not gentle. Marcus Aurelius knew this long before history carved his name into stone. He didn't believe in a fair universe, in some invisible balance that protects good people and punishes bad ones. He believed in reality, raw, unpredictable, often cruel. A reality where power invites betrayal. Kindness is mistaken for weakness, and every room you enter contains someone who would gladly replace you. For Marcus, Stoicism wasn't a soft philosophy. It wasn't about breathing exercises or warm spiritual comfort. It was survival psychology, a discipline forged under the weight of an empire, sharpened by political traps, and tested by the constant pressure of leadership. He woke up every day knowing that the people closest to him, generals, advisors, senators, could smile in public and conspire in private. He understood that a single moment of emotional weakness could cost him his throne or his life. The empire didn't care about his feelings. The court didn't care about his peace. The world around him played by ruthless rules and expected him to survive them. That's why he built an inner fortress, a mind that refused to bend under fear, chaos, or deception. He learned to read hidden motives, to expect resistance, to stay calm when others panicked, and to remain strategic when others broke. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you want to survive in a world that doesn't play fair, you must stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like an emperor. Not in arrogance, not in domination, but in unshakable self-command, the kind that can't be manipulated, provoked, or broken. This video reveals the 7 ruthless Stoic laws Marcus Aurelius lived by, principles forged in a world of wolves and built for anyone who refuses to be devoured by cruelty, chaos, or pressure. These are not comforting lessons. They are weapons, and today they become yours. Law 1. Control. Your inner kingdom. First, before Marcus Aurelius worried about enemies, traitors, or political storms, he confronted the most dangerous threat of all, the chaos inside his own mind. He understood something most people never realize. An undisciplined mind will destroy you long before the world ever gets the chance. Fear, impulsiveness, insecurity, anger. These internal storms are far more lethal than any external opponent because they corrupt your judgment from the inside out. A single moment of emotional blindness can ruin alliances, fracture relationships, or push you into decisions that take years to recover from. That's why Marcus treated mental discipline the way a soldier treats armor, not optional, not decorative, essential for survival. He believed that the world becomes clearer only when the mind becomes still, that you cannot respond wisely when you're reacting impulsively, and that no one, not an emperor, not a warrior, not an ordinary person, can hope to influence their environment if they can't first control their inner state. His principle was simple, but uncompromising. You cannot rule the world if you cannot rule yourself. Control your emotions. Control your attention. Control the story you tell yourself when pressure hits. When others panic, stay level. When others lash out, stay focused. When others drown in their own reactions, keep your head above the waves. This isn't weakness. It's power in its purest form. The ability to remain unshaken while everything around you tries to shake you. And here is the practical foundation of law. 1. Hold back your first emotion. Redirect your attention to what actually matters. Keep your mind cold, clear, and sharp, especially under pressure. Because the truth is harsh, but liberating. If you master your inner kingdom, nothing outside of you can conquer you. Law 2. Accept the cruelty of life. Without breaking, Marcus Aurelius lived in a world where suffering wasn't an exception. It was the atmosphere. Plague, betrayal, political games, personal loss, war. Life constantly reminded him of one truth most people still run from. Life is not gentle. Life is not fair. Life is not here to protect you. To the Stoics, existence was an arena, a place where you are tested, shaped, and revealed. Not punished, not targeted, simply challenged. Because challenge is the default setting of the human condition. And this is why Marcus never wasted breath asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Stoics rejected that question entirely, not because they were emotionless, but because they understood that self-pity blinds you, weakens you, and traps you in the illusion that you deserve immunity from hardship. Instead, they asked a much sharper question. What will I do now that this has happened? No drama, no whining, no bargaining with fate. Just a cold, clear acceptance of reality, not as punishment, but as material. Material for strength, material for character, material for becoming someone who can survive what others can't. Because the moment you accept cruelty as part of life, not an interruption of it, you stop breaking under pressure. You stop seeing yourself as a victim. You stop pretending life owes you comfort. You stop waiting for fairness that never comes. And you begin to build something far stronger. Inner resilience, the kind that chaos cannot touch. Stoic acceptance is not passive. It is not submission. It is preparation. It is readiness. It is the mindset that allows you to stand firm in the center of a storm, while others collapse around you. Because once you face the cruelty of life without flinching, the world loses its power to intimidate you. And that is when you become dangerous, not to others, but to the weakness inside yourself. Law 3. Expect. Betrayal, envy, and manipulation. Marcus Aurelius began every morning with a brutal exercise of the mind. He reminded himself that the world is full of difficult, unstable, and deceptive people. Not because he was cynical, not because he hated humanity, but because he understood one of the darkest and most liberating Stoic truths. People will betray you. People will envy you. People will lie, manipulate, gossip, and disappoint you. And none of this is personal. It is simply human nature. As emperor, Marcus lived surrounded by flatterers, schemers, opportunists, and men who would stab him the moment he showed weakness. But he didn't wake up angry. He woke up prepared. This is why he practiced negative visualization, a Stoic ritual of imagining the obstacles and unpleasant people he would face before the day even began. He would say to himself, "Today I will meet the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, the jealous, the selfish." Most people would call that pessimism. Stoics call it armor. Because when you foresee the low behavior of others, you are not shocked when it happens. You are not pierced by it. You do not collapse emotionally. You stay centered. You stay dignified. You stay in control of yourself, while others lose control of themselves. Marcus understood a simple but powerful equation. If you expect perfection from people, you will live offended. If you expect weakness from people, you will live unshaken. This law does not make you cold. It makes you stable. It stops you from taking betrayal personally. It protects you from manipulators who feed on emotional reactions. It keeps envy from distracting you. It frees you from the illusion that anyone owes you honesty or fairness. When you anticipate human flaws, you transform every disappointment into something predictable and therefore powerless. And that is why Marcus remained calm in a palace full of wolves. He didn't rely on their goodness. He relied on his preparation, because the Stoic who expects treachery is never surprised. And the one who is never surprised is the one who stays strong. Law 4. Stay ruthlessly disciplined. When others collapse. Discipline is not a routine. It's not a habit. It's not a productivity trick. For a Stoic, and especially for Marcus Aurelius, discipline is survival. It's the invisible backbone that holds your entire life together when everything around you falls apart. Marcus understood something most people never learn. Weakness never arrives as a catastrophe. It arrives as a whisper, a tiny compromise, a small excuse, a harmless, "I'll do it tomorrow." And that whisper, repeated enough times, becomes the voice that destroys you. That's why Stoics treated discipline with almost military seriousness. Not because they wanted to be perfect, but because they knew the price of letting the mind get soft. Marcus Aurelius wrote again and again in Meditations about the same struggle. The temptation to avoid responsibility, to stay in bed, to escape discomfort, to look for an easier path. He didn't pretend discipline was easy. He admitted it was a daily fight. In one of the most raw passages of Meditations, he scolds himself. "You were born to do the work of a human being, so why are you still lying here?" It wasn't motivational. It wasn't poetic. It was a command. Because Marcus knew something very dangerous about human nature. If you don't command yourself, the world will command you. If you don't impose order on your mind, someone else will impose their chaos on you. If you don't hold your line, life will drag you in every direction. By fear, by comfort, by impulse, by pressure, by other people's expectations. This is why Stoic discipline is ruthless. You keep your standards even when no one is watching. You show up even when motivation is dead. You stay focused when others scatter. You remain grounded when others panic and collapse. Because people do collapse. They break under stress. They quit when things get heavy. They abandon their commitments the moment discomfort appears. And that's exactly when a Stoic becomes stronger. Not because it feels good, but because it's necessary. To Marcus, discipline was not about productivity. It wasn't about optimization. It was about identity. A man is worth as much as the things he is willing to remain loyal to. He believed that. Self-control was the highest form of strength. Consistency was a moral duty. Showing up was a form of courage. Doing the right thing was more important than feeling like doing it. This law is brutal because it forces you to confront the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your discipline. And if you want to survive a world filled with chaos, betrayal, pressure, noise, and distraction, you can't afford soft discipline. You need Stoic discipline, the kind that keeps you steady when everyone else breaks. Law 5. Act with integrity, even when no one else does. In a world built on masks, games, hidden agendas, and shifting loyalties, integrity becomes a weapon. Not softness, not naive kindness, not blind trust, but cold, deliberate honesty. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than almost any leader in history. He ruled an empire where betrayal was a currency, where flattery was a strategy, and where loyalty could be bought or broken overnight. Living without integrity in such a world wasn't immoral, it was suicidal. So Marcus made one of the most difficult Stoic commitments. I will act rightly, even if no one else does. This wasn't idealism, it was a survival strategy. Because integrity is not about being nice. Integrity is about being untouchable. Cold honesty as a strategy of strength. Marcus practiced what could be called cold integrity. The kind that avoids manipulation because it cannot be manipulated. He didn't pretend to like people he didn't trust. He didn't promise what he couldn't deliver. He didn't bend his values to win approval. He kept his word because a man who lies to others eventually lies to himself. And a leader who lies to himself collapses. Integrity was his way of staying sharp in a world designed to dull you. Selective trust, not cynicism. Marcus was not naive. He trusted carefully, not blindly. He understood that some people smile while sharpening knives behind their back. Others pretend to support you to get closer to your weakness. Some offer friendship only when it benefits them. So he kept a quiet distance, a calm boundary. Not bitterness, just awareness. He chose people who earned trust, not demanded it. Because for a Stoic, distance is not disrespect, it's protection. Kindness versus weakness. Marcus was kind, but never weak. This is a crucial Stoic distinction. Kindness is voluntary. Weakness is involuntary. Kindness comes from strength. Weakness comes from fear. Marcus helped others because he chose to, not because he needed their approval. He forgave, but he didn't forget lessons. He listened, but he didn't believe every story. He showed compassion, but never let it blind him to human nature. He knew, if your kindness has no boundaries, you will be used. Integrity as your unbreakable spine. When the world around you is built on manipulation, the only way to stay unbroken is to have a backbone that doesn't bend. Integrity gives you that. It gives you clarity when others are confused. It gives you direction when others run in circles. It gives you inner peace when others drown in their own deceit. Marcus Aurelius understood that titles fade, power shifts, empires rise and fall. But a man with integrity cannot be erased. Because even if no one sees your choices, you see them. Even if no one praises your discipline, you live with it. Even if the world plays dirty, you stay clean, not for them, but for yourself. That's the Stoic strategy. Act with integrity, even when no one else does. Law 6. Never waste energy on things beyond your control. If there is one Stoic law that separates the strong from the broken, the focused from the scattered, the powerful from the exhausted, it's this one. Never waste your life fighting battles you cannot influence. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire by trying to control everything. He ruled by mastering the one thing no one could take from him, his attention. And he treated attention like a weapon, sharp, limited, sacred. Because the moment you give it away to chaos, to people you can't change, to events you can't alter, to outcomes you can't predict, you become powerless. Marcus Aurelius and the art of limited influence. As emperor, Marcus faced wars, plagues, betrayals, uprisings, famine, political games, and constant pressure from every direction. But he didn't break. Why? Because he refused to fight every fire. He knew that influence has a boundary, a line where your effort ends and the world begins. And he wrote it simply: control what you can, endure what you must. This wasn't passivity. This was precision. Where your strength ends and chaos begins. Most people waste their entire emotional life trying to control other people's opinions, other people's behavior, outcomes they cannot guarantee. The past they can't change, the future they can't predict, circumstances shaped by chance. Marcus understood a deeper truth. Trying to control the uncontrollable is the fastest path to weakness. It drains your energy, fogs your mind, and turns you into a slave of frustration. So he drew a mental border. Here's what I can affect. Everything else, I release. This border is the Stoic shield. Cutting off unnecessary battles, Marcus didn't just say, "Don't worry about it." He tactically eliminated the wrong battles. He avoided arguments that led nowhere. He ignored insults that didn't affect his duty. He refused to chase the approval of people who added no value. He didn't feed energy into rumors, gossip, or petty drama. His strategy was simple. If it distracts you, starve it. If it strengthens you, feed it. Every wasted reaction is a weapon handed to the enemy. Every unnecessary conflict is a step away from your mission. A Stoic doesn't fight to feel powerful. A Stoic fights only when the battle matters. Strategic thinking under pressure. Marcus lived under more pressure than almost any human alive, yet his mind remained clear. Because he practiced strategic thinking. Identify what is yours to influence. Direct your energy there. Ignore everything else without guilt. This is how he survived political snakes, military disasters, and personal tragedy without turning bitter or unstable. His calm wasn't spiritual, it was tactical. His emotional control wasn't mystical, it was disciplined. He mastered the art of holding the line where it mattered and letting go where it didn't. That's why he could say, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And this law became one of the most ruthless Stoic survival rules. Never waste energy on things beyond your control. Law 7. Turn every attack into fuel. Turning attacks into fuel is the highest form of Stoic power. It means you've reached a level where nothing the world throws at you can actually stop you. It can only shape you. Pain stops being a threat and becomes raw material. Every difficult moment becomes something you can smelt down, reshape, and use to forge a harder version of yourself. The Stoics believed that pain is not an interruption to your path. It is the path. Marcus Aurelius wrote again and again that life is going to hit you with unfairness, betrayal, disrespect, cruelty, and random chaos. He didn't ask how to avoid it. He asked how to transform it. If someone insulted him, he didn't respond with anger. He treated it as a chance to strengthen his self-control. If life blocked him with loss or hardship, he treated it as training for his endurance. He understood that resistance builds strength, not comfort. The line, "the obstacle becomes the way," is one of the most misunderstood ideas in philosophy. It doesn't mean you should enjoy suffering or pretend it doesn't hurt. It means you treat every challenge as a signal, pointing toward the exact skill you need to develop. If someone mocks you, the universe is telling you to train your ego. If someone betrays you, it's a chance to refine your judgment. If you fail, it's a direct lesson in humility and recalibration. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. Everything can be repurposed. Criticism becomes data. Pressure becomes conditioning. Adversity becomes momentum. Even enemies become unwilling mentors. They show you your weaknesses faster than friends ever will. When people try to break you, they're accidentally giving you the tools to upgrade yourself. When you decide that attacks don't weaken you but feed you, the game changes completely. You stop fearing conflict. You stop shrinking from judgment. You stop letting chaos intimidate you. Instead, you absorb it and convert it. Your emotional armor thickens. Your discipline sharpens. Your purpose becomes clearer. And at that point, nothing, not insults, not betrayal, not failure, not pressure, can truly harm you. Because every hit you take only adds more fuel to the fire inside you. In the end, these laws weren't philosophical decorations or comforting ideas. For Marcus Aurelius, they were survival tools, the mental armor that allowed him to stay sane, disciplined, and unbroken, while ruling an empire filled with betrayal, political traps, and constant pressure. Stoicism wasn't a luxury. It was the only way to stay alive among wolves. What these principles really build is a kind of inner indestructibility. Not the absence of fear or pain, but the ability to endure them without collapsing. A person becomes unbreakable not by avoiding the world's cruelty, but by becoming someone who can't be destroyed by it. Someone who can stay calm when others panic. Someone who remains disciplined when others fall apart. Someone who doesn't abandon their moral frame, even when surrounded by people who have none. The final truth of Marcus's philosophy is simple and terrifyingly freeing. You do not control the world, but you absolutely control the kind of person the world turns you into. You can't force others to be loyal, fair, honest, or kind. You can't stop challenges, losses, insults, or chaos. But you can decide how you respond. You can decide who you become in the middle of the storm. That is your kingdom. That is your power. And that's the call to action. Become the person the world cannot break. Build the mental discipline, the inner stillness, the integrity, the resilience, and the strategic clarity that turn you into something unshakable. You don't have to control the world. You only have to control yourself so completely that the world can't bend you out of shape. The wolves will always be there. The chaos won't stop. But if you master these laws, you become the one thing the world can't destroy. A human being who stands upright, no matter how hard the storm hits.